Students often ask, why do we start this research class by writing an analytic essay? An essay that, with a few minor differences, is much like the essays we already wrote in Expos. Well, number one, we want to review what you should have learned in Expos. Number two, because the analytic essay as designed for this assignment is slightly different. It's a mini version of the larger research paper you will work on for most of this semester, and we want you to learn a few things about the research process that you will be able to apply later. I call this essay a mini version of the research paper, not only because of the difference in length, but also because here I have selected the topic you will read and write about. Through my selection of sources, I am hoping to model for you the process you will use when you look for your own sources in a few weeks, doing the research for your own research topic. Step one in the research process will be to select a broad topic that interests you. Here I have selected a topic that interests me, the food system. The food system is a topic that is often in the news. I read this article recently in the New York Times, a credible source that I read almost every day, and it whetted my interest in having the food system be the topic for our first assignment. Here's another article I read in the newspaper, and I will ask you to read it too. As you can see, it's an article about a controversial topic, and this is very important because without controversy you will find it hard to have a thesis. In other words, to take a position of your own. I hope you remember from Expos that analytic essays are not reports. They are arguments in which you must take a stand on an issue. That will also be true of the larger research paper. In the early stage of research, you will need to familiarize yourself with the field to learn the lingo and basic concepts. Encyclopedias can be excellent places to start to make yourself comfortable with the subject matter. But I didn't choose to include an encyclopedia article in this assignment. Instead, I included a reading from a book. Books are also great ways to get yourself grounded in a new subject area. Luckily, many books are available online at Rutgers Library as e-books. For this assignment, I chose a chapter from a book. I hope you will find it interesting and useful. Once you have read the general background sources I selected, you should be ready to start homing in on a more specific aspect of the topic that you want to focus on and will actually write about. You will be ready to make use of more highly specialized scholarly articles from peer-reviewed academic journals, like The Lancet. Even with preparation that I described, these articles can still be difficult to understand. Don't worry, we'll talk about techniques for reading them. Finally, since in this essay you are going to be taking a position in a controversy, you will need to make yourself familiar with all sides of the argument. In the larger research paper, you will be required to include at least one counterargument. So to model that, in this assignment, I've included a couple of counterarguments for you to read. What I have briefly described here is an abridged version of the process you yourself will use when you look for your own sources. When beginning in a few weeks, you do your own original research. I hope this analytic essay assignment will help prepare you. We will be discussing the research process in depth later in the course. Are you ready to start reading?